Episode 116. Here we go. Back in the studio. I'm actually 2 days late, so I apologize for that for everyone who is, someone who follows something weekly. I know I like to follow things weekly. There's some shows sometimes I'll be watching and like they don't post or like content, and it's like, dang, like I'm trying to keep up, and that's what I've been trying to stay consistent, and I'm still here. If you guys haven't heard, I was actually just on the Oki podcast and also the YAF podcast. I'm actually going to link that into the show this week, so if you guys wanted to see what I was up to this past week and why it's been 2 days late, I was actually guest appearing on those, and that was really fun. It's really cool to see, other native podcasts. They're two native podcasts, one based in Arizona, one based in Oklahoma. Oki Podcast Oklahoma. Come on, Dom. So that's what's going on there. But anyways, we're here, 116, you and I, and I used to, when I was on Instagram, a long time ago, like, I'm not saying with the podcast, I used to post late night Instagram, and I'd hashtag LNI. That's what I would do. And I thought that was really cool, like, hashtag LNI, late night Instagram, and I thought I was revolutionizing something. Everyone always thinks they're going to be revolutionized. I remember I made a couple of Vines, and I thought those were going to take off. And I also, Byte, if you guys don't know what Byte is an app that was like the new Vine, and it was spelled BYTE. So if you guys have never heard of Byte, it's like the Vine that was supposed to like take over again, but TikTok already kind of had a hold on the content. So Byte didn't really go successful. And actually, me and my buddies who lived in the house together, we tried to make a couple viral bites. It didn't really work out that well, but I was excited to do it. But anyways, what else have I been up to? I actually went out onto the water with my cousins. We got to go crabbing. That was fun. Fun, and it was, it's something that you got to do. And my cousins have been doing it for a long time. They're fishermen. They know what they're doing, and I'm just asking questions out there. I don't really know what I'm doing much, but I go out there, to learn and have a good time with the cousins. And there's a lot of things that go on out there. There's this time we were struggling with our putt-putt, which is a hydraulic system, and that was actually giving us some problems. And my older cousins and uncle had to actually fix it. But man, I was sitting there like, man, there's so much stuff to this, and I just felt like I'm just like, well, I could sit here, and watch. But it felt good to be able to help out from what I was able to do, at least. Gosh, my cousin Darian, I know he wouldn't mind me saying his name. I don't know. I haven't really asked the guy, but he's technically younger than me, but we're the same age. I'm not going to be that guy who, like, oh, they're younger than me. It's like by a month. It's like, it doesn't even matter at that point. They're the same age, that guy. Yeah, he's like manning his own boat now. He's doing the whole thing now. It's pretty dope. We were able to just go out, him and I, and that was fun. And we come back to the dock, we move all the pots. And for all the people who don't know what crabbing is or what happens, what it is, you go on a boat, you have a crab pot, and then you bait it with bait, which could be, I'm not going to say what the bait is, just like crab bait, what you would buy. And then you go out there and you set them, then you pick them up, and then you come back in, and then that's basically what it is. And it's exciting. It's one of those things that our people did prior to what we do now. It was the way of living. It was the way of how people ate. It was the way of people getting together. It was important. So shout out to them. Shout out to the Josephs and all the other Talalips who were out there fishing this past week. No, that was a good time. I've been playing some Warzone. I actually played Warzone the other day. And man, there's like multiple spots to land in Warzone on Rebirth Island, and if you're landing tents, man, tents is not the spot to land in Warzone. The reason if you land, here's my analogy of why I don't think tents is a good drop in Warzone. Like, you land in tents, you're instantly already on, like, lower ground than the prison. You already have the building next to the left with the satellite. I already forgot what it is. Then you have the other higher buildings that have, like, a second story. So you're already, look, you're lower here. There's a higher building here. There's a higher building above you on the hill. There's a tower to your left. And then there's people coming up the hill from, like, security. So it's like you're already at a disadvantage. You have really no cover points. People can still, I think, can shoot through their tents. I don't really know. If you know, if you can shoot through the tents, please let me know. But I just don't think that's right. The best drop, I think, in Warzone is bio. The best drop, you know, I'm always saying let's drop bio every time. You know, you can get the second floor, run up the third floor, you do all that, and it's just I think it's the best spot. I also really like watching land in chem. I never really land security. And here's the thing. A lot of people who, I don't know what you're talking about, Dom. I don't play Call of Duty, and you're probably going to turn this off. But what it means, or what I'm talking about is Call of Duty has this Battle Royale mode, which Battle Royale basically means that if you're in a game with 100 people, you all land on one island, and you play it till the last team finishes. That's what Battle Royale is. And and then it's called Rebirth, like, in Call of Duty. So, like, but when you start, you get to, like, jump and, like, land somewhere. And you got to choose where you want to land. And, like, these are, like, call-outs, like chem, bio, tents, towers, or those are, like, the call-outs. So when I say, like, tents is not, like, the best spot to go to, it's because it's, like, there's so many other spots you can go to. But I could be wrong. And a lot of people are going to say, you know, I justify my landing spot and where the circle is. And what the circle is basically, like, it condenses you all to, like, a certain area of the map, so you're not just hiding, which is really nice. And that's the one thing about tents, man. I don't land tents. I don't like to land tents in Warzone, and I don't plan on it. So I was thinking of things that I think are really interesting, or, like, ideas for shows, ideas for animation, ideas for games. I'm trying to think of something. And I was thinking about, like, what about, like, if you could be as famous as you want, right? You know, you can have all the followers, you can have all the, you know, everything, the money, the fame. But here's the thing. You're only allowed to be on 5 shows your whole life. And then after that, like, you get a cap. It's like, oh, you've already had, like, it's like in your DNA or in, like, a chip or something. It's like, yo, you've already been on, like, enough shows. Like, say, for instance, you know, all these authors who do published shows, or these actors who go on Ellen or Oprah. Imagine if that was you only get 5 times. Imagine how much media would be different. Like, there'd be, like, up and coming people. I feel like it would, like, new people would be coming in, or you'd have, like, the people who are really strategic on what they go on. And I think maybe TV would sacrifice a lot of views, maybe, because then you couldn't have, like, a for real host. Like, for instance, like, Oprah would only be able to have 5 shows. So you got to make your 5 shows really big, and then you could, you know, get big off of that. And I would say the shows, like, at a certain point, it's like that's what it starts counting. Like, you can have, like, other shows that, like, don't take off as much, and then you could be on that. But I think if it's, like, really something, I don't know, it was just like an idea. You know, some people would be like, I don't really know about that one, Dom. But it's like, I got to think out loud. I got to write these things down before I lose them. You know, if you write a movie on that or TV show, I mean, I hope you'd at least, like, maybe cast me. You know, you don't have to, like, credit me because I'm not doing the work, but, like, you can maybe be like, yeah, you know, I was inspired by this, and Dom, you know, if you want to be a cameo on the back, I'd be cool with that. You know, I'll be honest, I'd be cool with that. Kind of cool with a lot of things. But not landing tents in Warzone. That's just, like, the thing I don't do. I mean, my buddies like to land there because there's a lot of ground loot there, but I don't. You know, that's the thing. Like, ground loot's a big thing, and guns and Call of Duty, I think, are few and far between. And what I mean by that is in the new Call of Duties, I feel like there's like a couple guns that you could use and they're OP or they're godlike or whatever, you know. But I feel like in Modern Warfare 2, 95% of the guns were usable. Like I could think of maybe like three guns on Modern Warfare 2 that were just unusable. And personally, I would say it would be the F2000. I also wasn't good with the Vector, and also there was another RPG that I didn't really use, or LMG I didn't really use, and I forgot the name of it. But almost every assault rifle in MW2 was a good gun. If you go down the list of the Call of Duty guns in Modern Warfare 2, I think you can almost name them. It goes M4A1. I think then it's like the FAMAS, the SCAR, the TAR, the ACR, the M16, F2000, the AK. Oh, I know I'm missing another one, but I don't know what the other one. Okay, I'm gonna restart. So if you guys are listening, Modern Warfare 2 is it's a video game. It's Call of Duty franchise. It was released about 10 years ago now, and they had a certain types of assault rifles. So what I'm doing is trying to list them. So M4A1, FAMAS, TAR-21, SCAR-H, ACR, F2000, AK-47, and I don't remember the other ones. So I'm just going to say that because I don't want to keep like bothering everyone about it. But I've been playing these other games too, like this game called Weddle.com. It's like a playoff Wordle, but it's like NFL players, and that's really cool. Also Poidle, which is the NBA version, super cool. I'm thinking about releasing a native version in the works of that actually. Let me just take a drink of water here. Give you guys a second to think. Oh man, nothing better than that. Nothing better than drinking water sometimes. Water's life, man. Okay, so what have we not? Oh, we haven't discussed something that is very, very issue. It's a big issue. You know when you're like getting out of your car and you leave the keys in the ignition, and you're just trying to like have your door open because it's hot out, or it's just like you're just trying to sit in your car but have the door open. And then you just hear the non-stop. Just like your car just keeps beeping. And I get it. It's probably like a good thing. You know, it lets you know your door's open. Whatever. But sometimes that beep is just the straw that breaks the camel's back. Like, you know, when you're having a long day, you're just trying to get out of your car. You're just trying to chill. Let the air in. And this car alarm or this beep just keeps beeping and beeping. And so it's like you close your door. Turn on your AC. It takes a couple minutes for it to start up. And then it's like, it just ruins the vibe, I feel like. I don't know. I'm also not on here trying to just complain, because there's a lot of good things going on in the world. Like someone, if they're lighting sage, like, you know, you're all, is someone lighting sage? You know, that like you just like, and then you walk out and then you're like, oh yeah, smudge me down, bro. I feel like is someone lighting sage or something. That actually happened to me. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was at work, and like ice melted from the other side of the like building, and I was like, yeah, man, cleanse. Let's get the cleansing going in here. I feel like sometimes I need cleanses after certain things. I've been being kind of a grub this week in terms of eating. Before we went on the water here, so we were supposed to get out there early. And I get out there early, right when they say, you know, like 5:30. I think I was a little late, actually, probably 6. And I had nothing to eat. And I also had to go get boots. And here's the funny thing about the crabbing situation with my family. Like, my family, all the guys that I fish in my family are like bigger dudes. So it's like, they're like, oh yeah, we'll grab you an extra rain gear. And it's like XL, XXL. And that's good for them because they're like, oh yeah, I'll fit it. No worries. Me, it's like a dress. So like they had boots, but the boots were too big. So I had to go get some boots last second at like 6 a.m. And Walmart was open. So that it worked out. But man, like I never thought about like thought about that boots my size are like hard to find for some reason. Like size 10 to 11 boots are just like non-existent. So I was looking at Walmart for these boots and I was hungry. So I got these sour cream and onion chips because they look good, and I don't know why. And I don't like sour cream and onion, but they just look good. You know, when you go to the store and you're like, oh, that looks good, I'm going to get them. So I got them, and I had like a handful of almonds, like a little can of Pepsi, and these Lay's sour cream and onion chips. And man, I'm pretty decent on the water, like in terms of like motion sickness and like getting rocked around and not feeling sick. I felt sick the first time, or the second time we went out. I don't know, something in the sour cream and onion chips definitely made me feel nauseous. And, you know, that's just how it went. So what I'm saying is, if you guys are ever going to go on a boat, don't eat sour cream and onion chips and Pepsi and almonds on the way. That's just not the right recipe. We actually came back to the shore, and I went to Taco Time, and I actually felt way better after eating Taco Time going back on the water, to be honest with you. But I felt like a grub. Like those sour cream and onion chips, I did not feel like so good. And but I saw people stocking in Walmart. You know, the employees were sitting there. They're stocking up chips. They're stocking up pop. They're stocking up clothes. If you guys ever got the feeling like whenever you see a lot of something, it's really interesting. Like if somebody gave me like a box of, I don't know, like a box, like 1,000 traffic cones. I don't know why that's like interesting. Like I'd be like, oh yeah, this is dope. Or you get like 1,000 toothbrushes in one box. You're like, this is so cool. Or iPhone chargers, or like when you see something of a lot of items that you're only used to really having one, like one toothbrush, you have like one, or, you know, or however many people are in your family, you know, that's about as many as you see. But if you see like 2,000 toothbrushes, you're like, this is so cool. You're like, I want one. I don't know what it is about that. Maybe that's what happens like at concerts. Like you see so many people like one person, and then you start like wanting that person, not like wanting that person, but like wanting to meet them or be like recognized by them. And like what I mean by that is like when Michael Jackson would tour, when Justin Bieber tours, when Rihanna tours, like there's so many people. Like it could be a reach, but has anyone else thought of that? Or like you see like 50 hamburgers and you just want one just because there's 50 of them. And maybe that's like my abundance, or I don't know, something in my head. But I want to give a shout out actually to these dope candles, man. Mount Eleanor Candle Company, Candle Co. These actually came from actually a classmate of mine. He actually sits in like right next to me technically, and he shared in class that he had a candle company. And I was like, dude, like I'll take a candle. So big shout out to Mount Eleanor Candle. They smell good, man. And that's the thing, like some candles you get and they just don't smell good, like almost too fruity almost. And it's really it was really cool. I really like on the back of the packaging how it's like it has like the burn time, the height. It's like really technical. It's really cool. Yeah, so if you guys are interested in checking out Mount Eleanor, check them out. MTELLINOR.com. That's again MTELLINOR.com. So give them a check. And if you guys need candles, you know, they're your people, especially here in Washington State primarily, but they do also ship. So yeah, give them a check out. I love candles, man. I remember candles were the thing I would get my mom and my aunties and all of them. They were a good gift. You know, you could be like, Mom, you know, I know you need a new candle. And then you'd get them a candle and they'd like it. Or at least they'd like pretend to like it. And I really like that about candles. There are some really good gifts you can give out, you know, and candles were one of them. And I was really thankful for. I'd always get like which ones would I always get? I always get kind of like the not like fruity ones, but I wouldn't get like the basic ones either. Like I'm not getting vanilla cupcake, but I'll get like vanilla breeze, you know, in terms of candles. Or I'll get like I like the spruce candles a lot. I like the evergreen scents, the sage scents, like the naturey ones. I really like those ones. But I was never one for like the beach sunset ones. I think Hotel Linens is a very underrated candle. A lot of people don't like the smell. But if they're too sweet though, like fudge brownie or like vanilla cupcake, that's too much. I don't want my house to smell like a bakery unless it's like I'm actually baking something. Like I don't mind bringing in the woods because I'm not bringing in the woods to my house, you know. But I'm not bringing like a vanilla cupcake into the equation. So that's why I got these candles. I actually got the Adams candle, which is sage, lavender, and oak moss. Dope combination. Again, big shout out to MountEleanor.com. Love this. I love the packaging. I like the wood top they got going here. The green. It just fits. It just fits really well. So if you guys want to check that out, be sure to check them out. That was like 2 plugs in one. You know, I like to repeat myself. So yeah, I've been thinking about games I want to make. You know, how can I make a game and like advertise the podcast at the same time? I don't really know if there's like a precise way, but I know that, you know, if I like doing that, I should just go for it. And it's exciting, and I know making games is hard, and I know doing those things are hard, but so is like technically starting a podcast or putting yourself out there. So I'm really excited for that. You know, summer's coming up, man. And people got plans for the summer. You know, you got people driving across the state just to drive across the state because they're bored. You know, what else do people do in the summer? You know, people like to go outside and then go back inside because of mosquitoes in the summer. Or they like to go outside without putting sunscreen on because they like to feel a little dangerous. You know, what are you doing this summer? You know, what are the trips you got planned out? You know, let me know. 425-320-3641. That's the hotline. You could call in. Let me know what you got planned for the summer. Where you're going to go, what you're excited for. I know some people will travel the world to see certain artists. I know people travel the world to see balloons in the air in New Mexico. I know people like to travel to, you know, certain parts of wherever. And that's cool. You know, I respect that. My girlfriend, actually, she likes to travel a lot. And I've been trying to be... I sometimes, like, I feel like I need to travel more. Because I'm just like, I'm so content with being where I'm at sometimes, but I need to be better at like going places. And, you know, so I'm trying to work on that. You know, everyone's always trying to work on something too. Everyone's going through something. But yeah, that's kind of like the deep thought of the day. Everyone's going through a little bit of something. Even the server in your restaurant going through something, I would say. I know, native tournaments have started up. We've talked about those a couple times. Oh, man. I mean, I've seen some funny things go down there. And that's what's so funny about them. And I actually haven't been to one in a long time. So I need to go check one out. My cousins actually are going to go do that. And now they're getting out of window washing with my other cousin because they usually come and help. And so that means I'm going to be doing a little bit more window washing this week. And that's okay. You know, I'm going to be grinding, doing the window wash thing. I want to go watch a Mariners game. Go watch some baseball. There's something about watching baseball. I guess, like I say, I don't really like baseball, but I like watch the Mariners. I'm wearing a baseball hat. I have a jersey. I haven't played baseball in a long time, though. I feel like that's what makes me feel like a fake fan. Like, I haven't gone out there and swung and hit a bat in a while, or hit a ball, or thrown the ball around. I should definitely go get, like, a glove and, you know, I think it's like a relaxing sport. Like, I could put on a baseball game and just kind of relax, just watch the game, and not have to really pay too much attention to it. Like, basketball, I feel like you're watching the whole time. Football, you're watching the whole time. Softball, you know, watching the whole time. Lacrosse, volleyball, like, you're watching. Like, baseball, I could put it on, and I can listen to, like, the radio version of it, and I'm just as fine. And don't get me wrong, I like to watch it, but I think that's what's really cool about going to a baseball game. Like, if you're running late and you're getting your garlic fries and something happens, like you could be like, oh, okay, we're scoring. There's some guy on base. We still have the ball. Football, there's an interception. They ran back. You missed it. It's like, oh, man. Yeah, you could miss a home run or steal a base. And I'm not saying you don't have to watch it, but you guys kind of get what I'm saying, right? It's kind of like golf too. Golf, when it's on TV, you could kind of do multiple things at once, I feel. Like football, I could sit there and I just don't do anything. Fantasy football's coming up, and when football's on and fantasy football's on, I'm looking at the phone, I'm looking at the TV, there's nothing else I'm doing. And baseball, I don't do that. But, if it was up to me to have the first pick in fantasy this year, which I don't have, I personally, who would I pick in the first pick? Jonathan Taylor's a pretty good, favorable pick this year. But I saw some people saying that he had an easy schedule last year, which I don't. He had a lot of yards, and he also plays in the AFC South. So, those are some gimme games. If it was up to me to have the very first pick in the NFL fantasy draft of 2022 in my fantasy leagues, I would pick. I probably would pick Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Kupp. A lot of people would be like, you'd pick a receiver. If Cooper Kupp can have that same year, which I don't know if he's gonna, would be insane. Actually, if I had the first pick in fantasy, I think I would pick Nick Chubb. I'm gonna look up fantasy. A lot of people were like, I don't watch football, dumb. I'm turning it off, and that's okay. Fantasy football mock draft. Let's see who number one is. I would say Nick Chubb or Cooper Kupp. Let's see what everyone else is saying. Who the number one consensus pick is. I think they're just going to say Jonathan Taylor, and I'm just going to look really wrong. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor leads heavy first-round pick in PPR. Goes Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler. Oh, yeah, Austin Eckler would be a good pick, too. I've noticed if you had Austin Eckler on your team, you're going to go to, the final four in your fantasy championship. If you draft Austin Eckler as a running back in your fantasy league, I guarantee you're going to make the semifinals and or the finals. Every time I'm in a league, I always pass up on him. I don't know why. He's a perfect fantasy running back, and I just don't ever draft him. But this year, if Austin Eckler's falling to me, I'm picking him. I'm going to make it to the semifinals or finals. I'm going to prove this point right. So if you guys are listening and want some fantasy football advice, that's my advice. Pick Austin Eckler. No stats, no schedule thing. I haven't even looked at anything yet. That's just my pick right now. I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to, think about it, and that's the truth. So, yeah, fantasy football is fun. I haven't done fantasy baseball. I haven't really been betting either because I've been trying to, I don't know. I'd be like, oh, I want to kind of have some money, so I don't bet. And I'm not really a bad bettor, but I know some people struggle with it. If you guys struggle with gambling, there's GA, Gambling Anonymous, and there's programs out there to help you if you need help with that. Again, I'm no expert on that kind of stuff, but I do know there's resources available if you do struggle with that kind of stuff. But if you're just having some time with the boys, having some time with the the girls or the kids or whatever, and you want to put down $5 on the bitty basketball team that's playing to make it interesting, then I think it's a little more fun. I think that's why I like fantasy, because it just directly involves you into the sport a little bit more. It's you're I don't really know about the Oakland Raiders or the Las Vegas Raiders, but now that I have a guy on their team, it's all right. Anyway, this has been episode 116. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Episodes are available Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, on all those platforms. So if you have those, please check it out. Again, we're going to be back here next week. Hope you guys have a great one, and I'll see you guys, next week. Repeating myself, and if I could leave you guys with one message is don't land tents in Warzone. It's just not going to do you anything, and draft Austin Eckler in your fantasy draft. And also, that's my takeaways. So, wait.